Hey, Danny K coming to you from Danny K Gym and Wellness. Today's tip is about better looking shoulders, like more balanced shoulders. Again, the more balanced you are with anything, with all of your muscles, front, back, side, all that, the less ideas there are for you to have injury. So imbalance creates injury. So, and of course, if you have like nice, good shoulders and it just kind of looks nice. So basically, there's one definite muscle that a lot of people, especially guys and women, they just don't either. They don't know. They don't think that they need to do. And sometimes they feel like, well, it comes in from their back, so that's where I'm just going to get it, right? Well, it's called the rear delt or reverse fly. There's a machine that actually is set up, like the pec deck where you fly in. So usually 9 times out of 10 in a gym, there's a machine where, if you're flying in, you can set the arms, turn around backwards, and then basically, opening it up from the back, okay? Or yeah, from, facing the chest pad, facing the pad and going out like this. So it's hitting that rear delt, that back shoulder muscle. You can do that with the machine. You can do that with dumbbells. There's so many different ways that you can do and hit that rear delt. I'm looking at my dog. You can do it, where you're bent over like this and lifting out, okay? So that is getting that back part, that rear delt. You can do it with the cable cross, put the cable things down at the bottom and do it that way. You can do it with dumbbells. You can stand in this position, but I'm going to move you, dog. Hey, jump up. Good girl. So like you want to be in a squat kind of position, butt out, knees bent, back is flat, and lift out like that. Make a T so that, I'm going to move you again. I'm sorry, sweetie. Watch out. So that your arm is like in line with your shoulder. You don't want it when you're bent over. You don't want it in front. You don't want it way in the back. You want it right in line with the muscle that you're working. So I mean, there's so many different ways you can do that, and there's also like you can put the cables up and kind of some guys call it a face pull, where they put the cable thing up and they pull back like that, where their elbow is in line with the rear delt. So when you're pulling, kind of a face pull, or like like a neck pull, where you're pulling like maybe a rope or something. But as long as the elbow is in line with that rear delt, or if your arm straight out is in line with the rear delt, you're going to get that. Of course, there's the lat raise where you're doing the side to get the side delt, and then the front raise to get the front delt. I personally do not spend a lot of time on the front delt, just because you're doing a lot of chest work. You do, especially if you're a guy, you do like an incline press, a flat press, a decline press, you're doing flies, you're doing push-ups. So your front delt does get a lot of attention. So that's why I focus a lot on the rear delt. So on my clients and myself, I do rear delt on back day as well as shoulder day. So I'm getting kind of a 2 for in that week, because the front delt kind of, really takes a lot. And if you see, some of the guys, remember back a couple of videos ago, I talked about, the guys like doing all the chest stuff and they're rounded forward. If they would focus on the rear delt to pull that shoulder back, they would look a lot better. It also gives just more round kind of look, more of a fuller kind of look to your shoulder if you're working on that rear delt. So you have that rear delt, you have the mid delt, you have the front delt, you have the traps. So, and of course, shoulder press, is a combo of everything. Some people do like upright rows. I'm going to stand this way. Upright rows where you either have a bar, the cable, a bar attached to a cable, or dumbbells, but you're pulling it straight up, leading with your elbow up to your shoulder, not way up high or anything like that. We always want to make sure that we're doing things correctly, not taking it, especially like if you're doing a lat raise, you want to go right to your shoulder. You don't want to raise it up. If you're doing a front raise, you want to go right to your shoulder. You don't want to raise it up. A lot of times people are doing, crazy crapola stuff, and it's damaging inside. and they think they're doing a lot of good for the outside. And they might feel it there, but what is the side effects or the long-term effect on the actual joint, the ligaments, the tendons, and all that stuff? A lot of times people don't think about that. With me, with my injuries, and doing this for over 23 years, I think a lot about injuries, and I'm first and foremost with your form, and I'm making sure that, you know, if it's a front raise, you're going right to your shoulder. If it's a lat raise, you're going right to your shoulder. If it's a rear delt, you're going right to your shoulder. You're not swinging it up. You're not taking it back. So I'm all about, you know, focusing on the form as well as focusing on, you know, the muscle group that we want to work and getting it to the point where we want it to be. So shoulders is very, you know, very important. And like I said, you've got the 3 delts, you got the traps, you know, traps, you know, doing shrugs. You can have your dumbbells in your side hand, you know, on the side in your hands, lifting straight up. I a lot of times take a bar and I have it behind me and I shrug up. Some people do it from the front. I don't like so much from the front, again, because we have so much motion from the front and all of our front muscles are so much stronger than our back muscles. So I focus on keeping if I have to grab the bar from the back, I keep my shoulders back. So that makes me actually lift up and lift straight up where my traps are, not forward. And sometimes you see a lot of guys, when they're lifting heavy, they kind of shrug it forward and lean forward. You're not getting your trap, which is, your trap is in the back, right? It's not in the front. So focus where the muscle is and lift accordingly to where that muscle is and make sure the weight is at where the muscle is. You know, a lot of times, you know, like with the upright rows, that kind of gets the traps as well. So there's different ways of getting all of your shoulder muscles, and I would definitely focus on a nice, good shoulder day. If you don't do a shoulder day, if you kind of put the shoulder press, and again, with the shoulder press, you want to be at 90 degrees, not down here, 90 degrees, and take it up, straight up. A lot of times, guys, they do, you know, straight up and they roll it down and click it, and straight up and roll it down. I don't like that whole rotation motion with heavy weights, with any weights really, because it screws up your inside, your joint. So I'm all about form. So this, you know, you just start shoulder press, you start at the 90 degrees and take it straight up, 90 degrees, take it straight up, 90 degrees. When you're done, you just bring it in and set the weights down. I'm all about form. I've injured my shoulders so many damn times, it's crazy. So that's why I focus a lot of times, especially on shoulders, with form. So you've got your shoulder press, you got your front raise, you got your lat raise, you got your rear delt, you got your shrugs for your traps. So focus on shoulders. Don't just kind of throw it here, throw it there, you know, and definitely think about, like I said, that rear delt muscle. Try and maybe do that, especially if you haven't done a rear delt exercise. Don't think that just because I'm doing my back and I'm doing rows, or I'm doing wide rows, or I'm doing wide lat pull downs, that I'm getting, you're incorporating, you're engaging that rear delt, but you're not focusing, you're not isolating on that rear delt. So isolate that specific muscle. Your shoulder is going to get a little bit more round. And a lot of the guys, they say, I want those cannonballs sitting there, you know. Well, you've never seen a flat cannonball, right? They're round. So it's not here, here, and then flat. It would be all over round. So think about your rear delt, work on your rear delt, and think about, actually, if you don't have a specific shoulder day, guys and girls, think about putting in an actual shoulder day, so that you've got your shoulder press, you've got your front raise, and again, like I said, I might do maybe 1 or 2 sets, kind of light on my front delt, because I get a lot of that with chest presses, you know, incline, flat, decline, the flies, the push-ups. So I get a lot of front delt movement and work on that front delt. So I want to work mostly on my mid delt and my rear delt to kind of give that round and keep balance. So again, remember, imbalance creates injury. So if you're all focused over here and nothing back here, that's when something's gonna go haywire. And again, back a few videos ago, I said about the rotator cuff exercises. I would do those rotator cuff exercises. Hey, sorry, got another text. I would do those, rotator cuff exercises as a way to warm up your shoulder. and then jump into your shoulder press, front raise, your lat raise, your rear delt kind of thing, your shrugs. But think about those, get that shoulder in, think about actually putting in a shoulder day, okay? So I hope that kind of helps. A lot of people ask me how I get my shoulders this way. One, it is genetics. I've always had broad shoulders, but I do focus on my rear delt and my mid delt, and again, not so much on my front delt because I get a lot with chest press. So think about putting an actual shoulder day, and then let me know how that goes. Do it for a month or so. Obviously, if you just start doing a shoulder day tomorrow, your shoulders aren't going to be like boom, you know. So do it a couple of weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, and report back to me. Let me know how engaging that rear delt actually makes your shoulder look a little bit better, fuller, rounder, that kind of thing. So hope that helped. Leave me some comments. Anything you guys want to know about fitness, nutrition, whatever, give me a holler. Dani K Gimo Wellness on Facebook, DaniKGimoWellness.com. We are up. And of course my app, Dani K app, in the Apple App Store. I think there is a Droid link, but I'm not sure what that is. So, but leave me a message and I can get my guy Jeff to help us with that. So stay in tune, stay informed, stay motivated. Bye.